postmarketOS boots fast, taking only 16 seconds without firmware. The drive's sequential read and write speeds are also excellent. Another highlighted aspect is the graphics benchmark. The final score shown by GL Mark II is quite high compared to other Linux distros. To start, we enter the official website. Then click on Install, which shows the available device list. There we choose Generic, select OS Installer, and the version dated 2606, and download the system image. Other pre-installed desktops are available. Open Balena Etcher, select the downloaded image, choose the target device, and then press Flash. It will begin to unpack the data. Unpacking immediately starts the image flashing process. Once the writing is done, it starts validating the target device flash. The system image boots up very quickly. It will then enter the GNOME desktop environment, and the installer opens automatically. We select English as the language, then click Continue. Next, we select the keyboard layout, choosing Latin American in this case. It sometimes throws an error but recovers. We select the target disk for installation and the desktop, choosing Plasma this time. After confirming the desired disk, we input the name, username, password, and confirmation. Then we press the Continue button. After pressing it, we select the time zone. Then press Continue. A complete summary of configure options appears, and we confirm. Now the installation process begins. postmarketOS is a distro mainly for mobile devices, but it also features a desktop version. When installation finishes, it shows success, and we can select Restart System or Restart Later. We choose to restart the system. The system boots for the first time. The time is fast compared to other distros. Then we enter the registered user's password. Next, we review the desktop panel and menu. We see apps for development, education, games, graphics, and the built-in help center. We open the terminal and increase the font size for better visibility. Then, we use APK to install packages needed for testing. We run fast fetch and see the kernel version, which is the latest. KDE Plasma is version 6.6.5, which is very recent. We can also check the idle memory usage, which is average. Next, we see the total installation size on disk, which is excellent. Now, we use specific commands to verify the information, which is correct: the distro version, the kernel, and the memory usage. We also check the occupied disk space and the boot time using the systemd analyze command, which reports a mere 16 seconds total. Now we run sysbench for CPU on a single thread calculating prime numbers, which measures the processor's single-core performance. In this single-core benchmark, average performance was obtained, showing stability in calculations and average execution times. Next, to measure multithread power, we run sysbench for CPU with a parallel workload, analyzing 5-thread scaling efficiency. The multithread test showed average scaling, utilizing the 5 available threads with an average boost in overall performance. Now we analyze the scheduler, evaluating latency when multiple threads compete for resources. The obtained result is very low. Now we start a synchronization test, measuring log performance under high contention. The result obtained is considered average. Next, we run sysbench for memory in read mode, quantifying the bandwidth and data access speeds within the built-in RAM memory. RAM read reached average bandwidth, showing adequate data access alongside stable performance during continuous operations. In order to measure write throughput, we run sysbench for memory, analyzing the actual transfer rate directly to the RAM memory. Memory write yielded an average transfer rate, reflecting standard and normal data flow management towards the system's RAM. We ran sysbench to generate files, preparing a 1 GB test environment, which shows a good overall sequential write speed. For the final benchmark, we run sysbench for disk input and output, validating random read and write speeds across the system. The disk test achieved good performance compared to other Linux distributions, showing very high values under real workloads. Next, we ran the top command to check the memory consumed by a single Firefox window without any extension to check baseline. Now, we open a second tab, but with a video measuring the consumption when high bandwidth is requested for active playback. We continue by opening a third and fourth tab, noting the spike in memory consumption. The average usage per tab is quite high. A major highlight is the correct installation of both graphics cards as shown by LSPCI, although using the OpenNouveau driver. We run Glux info showing the OpenGL renderer to display the Intel card, and use KDE Prime to show the Open NVIDIA controllers. We install GLmark 2. The amazing thing is that Glux info works with KDE Prime. Almost no distro does it by default except KDE. We run GLmark 2 and it uses the default Intel card to render the build test, measures the capacity of the driver and graphics. Effect2D evaluates accelerated 2D rendering. Desktop simulates a real desktop environment to test the compositor being used. Refract. This test simulates light refraction through transparent surfaces. The score obtained by Intel was very impressive. We run GLmark 2 with offload and vendor environment variables to render with NVIDIA bump tests relief using bump mapping. With the jellyfish test, it renders many moving semi-transparent objects. With shadow we evaluate dynamic shadow projection. We continue with loop, a test that evaluates the efficiency of cycles within shaders. The score obtained by NVIDIA was average. We have finished the postmarketOS desktop tests. We close everything and power off to draw conclusions from the tests run. In conclusion, postmarketOS is an Alpine-based distro with an installer oriented to the normal user, making the process easy. A highly relevant aspect is the proper setup of both Intel and NVIDIA cards, especially with open-source drivers and Prime. In the performance tests, some aspects had excellent results, but concurrency and memory management still need some tuning. This has been all for this video. If you liked it, subscribe, leave a like and activate notifications. See you in the next video.